So here's the kit that you'll need in order to fit the tyres and also eventually put them onto the bike. So first up, you've got the compressor, the air compressor there. You can do this down at your local garage, although from my experience you can get pretty rubbish ones down there, so if you can afford it, get your own air compressor or borrow one off a friend. Next up, you'll need a wheel balancer. This is really important to do, and we'll cover what happens when we do that later. And then obviously you're going to need a fresh set of tyres, or maybe you're just switching over some tyres that you've used previously. And then last up here we have some tyre warmers. So it's quite important really, especially if it's fresh rubber, get them nice and warm beforehand, and then it just makes the whole process of putting them on a lot easier. So what I'm going to do now is do that, get that prepared, and then just get a few other things then set up. So there's a few other little bits that we haven't looked at though just yet. One is this tub of paste. I'll put the link into the video below. So as I say, that tub there, that came from a company called Tyre. It's really awesome. It basically helps create a really decent seal around the tyre wall and the rim of the wheel. Certainly makes it really easy for getting them on. Then we've also, obviously we want to protect our rims, so some rim protectors there. And then finally, this is actually a set from my dirt bike, but got a Rabaconda set of levers. These are absolutely brilliant. Typically when I'm removing the tyres, I'll use the full Rabaconda kit. I'll save that for another video, another day. So then, we've now got our tyres pretty much ready to go on. First things first, we need to get the wheel prepared. So for this, we need to add some sort of like bead lubricant paste. I'll put the link in down below, and there'll be a proper maybe description, if you will, of exactly what it is. But yeah, if in doubt, you know, any of the kind of sort of typical bead tyre lubricants that you want to put on is good. Whilst we've got the wheel off, it's also a really good chance for us just to kind of inspect it, have a little look around, and also what we want to do is just kind of get this clean as well. Particularly if you do a lot of track days, or if you've ridden in bad weather and that sort of stuff, yeah, it can get pretty mucky in there. So yeah, it's just a good idea just to kind of give it a good wipe through. You know, you can use an alcohol wipe, but be a little bit careful on that, just to make sure that you know that it's all dissolved and that it's all completely clean afterwards, because otherwise alcohol and rubber can generally not go particularly well together. So so as I say, yeah, just make sure you have a good clean of it, and then we're ready to go. So first up, we've got this is the lubricant paste. As I say, the reason why I don't quite know the name for it is because it's in a nondescript pot, but tyres.co.uk are the boys that supplied this. So let's give you a bit of a view of what that looks like. A real silver, sort of almost like a gouache really. So the handy thing is, and I'll just get the paintbrush out, is that a lot of the other things, the sort of lubricants that are out there that I've seen on the market, they basically tend to be sort of spray on. One of the problems with that is I think you just end up, A, make a mess, and B, you end up just putting way too much on. So so here, you know, I'm being liberal with it, not being shy, but I'm just gonna kind of just paintbrush it on, and then it's a little bit of a boring process, so hopefully we can find a way to accelerate this. If not, if my YouTube skills haven't sorted themselves out by then perhaps you can just hit fast forward and to the point where you'll see me manhandling this to one side. I did mention at the start as well as checking the inside of the tyre, it's also worth, you know, check your discs and all that sort of stuff. The valve actually on this, the actual holder itself, had a bit of a knock on it just from where I was removing it previously, so I've swapped that out for a brand new one. So again, you know, good chance to you know, make some positive changes. So we shall set this to one side, and then you know, get our nice and warm tyre. Oh, that's lovely. There we go. It's probably not a bad job for a cold day. So first things first, before we fit the tyre, you need to know which way round your wheel goes. Now some tyres are reversible. I think the Metzler TDs are reversible, don't again quote me on that, but there are some that are reversible. I think some of the Bridgestones as well. Typically though, the Race Techs from Metzler are not, as the Pirelli ones as well. So so basically what we're looking for here is a little arrow to show the direction of travel. There we go. So it basically says rotation that way, and fortunately, because these came straight off a Ducati, these are the standard wheels, the Marchesini logo is still on there, and these little arrows tell me again the direction of travel, so dead handy. There we go. So that's so we know that it's going to line up like so. However, first of all, before I do that, I'm going to now do the same painting of the lubricant onto the tyre. So same sort of deal again, and the reason why I flip the tyre over is because I want it lined up so that when I do the same to the other side, we're bang on in position, ready to go. So you see, that's pretty quick. Then we just do the inside of the tyre here, not the sort of full wall, but just round by where the edges will touch. Again, you know, the idea being here is that we get a decent contact, and that then when you inflate the tyre, it's going to grip nicely, and yeah, it'll just be a good fit. As I say, it also makes it nice and easy to get on, and there will be a different video for getting them off, because that is a different process. Right, so I'm going to flip these over now. You know, don't worry about getting any of this stuff onto your wheels. They do clean up nice and easily afterwards. If any of you have ever had your tyres changed, which I'm sure most of you have, and the reason why you're watching this is probably because you're a bit fed up of paying for it. If any of you ever had that, then you'll know that I'm absolutely waffling on and has forgotten his train of thought. Anyway, so let's just get this last bit done. I'm not going to edit that out. Apparently we need to be more natural in today's world, and I'm all in favour of that. Okay, right, so there we go. So then the next piece is we really need to be looking for where the lightest part of the tyre is, and there should be, here we go, there should be 2 marks there. Now what we do is we line these 2 marks up with what's typically the lightest part of the wheel, which is basically where the valve is. So so it's quite important for us to make sure that's lined up. It doesn't need to be absolutely bang on, spot on, but we need to kind of get it there or thereabouts. Okay, so with this, now we can just start to kind of be a bit more brutal and start to manhandle it in. This is where your knees start to become your friends. just be careful to make sure that you don't get any fingers in around the lips. Not good. So then what we're going to do is just going to have to lift that off slightly. There we go, and now we can start to push that in. Okay, just start to walk it round. Okay, we're just going to pause there because this is where we're going to need our good friends, and particularly when you're dealing with any kind of nice wheels, carbon alloys, whatever, you want to kind of look after them as best as you can. So again, a bit of protection. So just flip those in. There's a good reason why I kind of did this after. He says it's because typically you put them on too early whilst you're kneeling on it, they'll always fall in, you guarantee it. So that said, I think I've probably gone a bit too far in there. Unfortunately, I'm also carrying an injury in my left wrist, so it's there we go. Not too easy for me to move stuff around at the moment, which is not ideal. Yeah, whatever. Okay. In some ways, one of the things I do wish that they did with these is made the strings long enough. I guess I could just add a bit of longer string. But yeah, just a bit longer string on there would be ideal, because you could just tie them off into the centre of the wheel. But still, it is what it is. Okay, I think we'll fast forward through this bit. So one thing I do try and do here is just use a little cable tie, just to sort of, more than anything, just try and keep them all together a little bit. I don't know, it's just a personal preference, you don't have to do it, but when things start dropping into the actual wall of the rim, it's quite handy where you can just pull back on it. Okay, so that's one of my tips. So right, so knees on, and just start to walk it around. Okay, right, and so we don't want to get this too far around, so we want to try and also get some leverage in there. Let's try this way. There we go. There we go. So, one of the things I nearly forgot there was, first rule of all of this stuff is not to be too greedy. So just a little bit at a time, and she'll get round. Work out. Okay. And there we go. I think. Just be careful of that rim. There we go. She is on. Okay. That's all good. That's the hard part. So, the next piece. Obviously we're going to want to remove these. Happy days. We can now save those for another day. Right. Okay. Here we are. You can see that on this side it's not quite over on its beading there, so we'll just try and give it a little bit of a tease, but if not to worry really, the air compressor will take care of it. We've got our two dots. I mean, sometimes it might be a single dot, I know on some bikes it's a single dot, but anyway, so I've got my dot lined up there. So then yeah, let's get this piece on, and then we'll get the air compressor sorted. That's better. Okay, good. So then, what's going to happen is when I whack the air compressor on, I need to get it up to, well, I don't know, personally I'll take it up to about 6 bar, and then it gives me enough to push it in. That's not 6 bar tyre pressure, that's 6 bar on the compressor there. Obviously, you know, inflate and go easy. There'll be 2 bangs generally, so there'll be bang number 1 as the bead takes hold against the rim, and then there'll be bang number 2 as it comes on to the other side. Some people say it sounds like a shotgun going off or whatever. I don't know what type of shotguns they've heard, but to me it's more of a sort of loud pop. Probably if you've not heard it before, it will make you jump, but actually knowing before you start this job that that's what's going to happen. And also if it doesn't happen, you've probably not got a good seal, then it's useful to know. So without further ado, we'll get set up and get ready. And there you have it. She's all ready to go, ready for track. So yeah, I'll just get that wheel now cleaned up, and then we'll do the rear, which is thankfully a lot easier usually. That's famous last words really, but yeah, it's that easy. As you heard the 2 pops there, yeah, it means that we've got a decent seal on there. What I did was I inflated the tyre afterwards to about 28 psi. Again, you got to refer to your tyre and your bike manufacturers for what's ideal. That pressure that I've set is, for me, is generally what I would go in on track with, but yeah, it varies. Also, this is the first time that I'm running this tyre, so you know, I may well sort of change my tune on that once I've sort of spun a few laps on her. So, but yeah, you know, obviously good practice is through any track day, and really any time you ride the bike is obviously checking the tyres before you go out, but then particularly for track, you know, checking them in between sessions and that sort of stuff. And if you do that, then you'll avoid things like cold tears and all of those kind of things where, basically the bike is, it's heated the thing up way too quickly. So yeah, get the pressures right and everything will be good. Alright, nice one. So thanks very much. I'll probably do a final one on the rear rim now. But yeah, thanks for watching.